Yay. So there'll be probably a delay here, and I'm just going to click go live on Instagram, if it'll work. Probably won't. Let's try that. Create live video.
Nope, wrong. Nope, no. There
you go. Preview video. No, I don't think it's working on Insta.
No. Let me grab my iPad so I can see what it looks like.
Yay!
Don't mind the mess.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like it's just on YouTube and on Facebook. Yeah, we're definitely not live. We're definitely not live on Insta. Oh, apparently we are. Huh, okay.
I think I just saw. Oh, microphone, stupid. I think I just saw on my iPad like a notification that it looks like it's on.
There we are.
Let's see. Live with Restream. In Technicolor.
In Technicolor. Ah. Indeed, we are live.
Does
and
mess
alive too?
Oh, they SC heard me. Thanks.
Does the mess mind you?
Well, I don't think so.
Oh man, but wow, this is all fun. It's like we'll just sit here just twiddling our thumbs.
Indeed.
Just give it a few minutes to let the audience build up, and we'll see what kind of audience we get. We've got 9 people. 9.
Yeah.
Look, we didn't really promote this. This is more just something just to tinker around with this software, because I'm using Restream. Apparently, you can do multiple streams at once. So at the moment, I've got 3. So YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And looks like I can't really do comments on Instagram directly through here, but that's okay. That's what this is all about. Oh, this is pretty cool. The chat actually says where the comments are coming from. So our good pal Essie McPeter, you're on YouTube. Be curious to see any comments from Facebook. Is Gossamer still the hottest Looney Tunes character? Well, in the summer, I'm assuming. I mean, all that fur, right? I'm just having my coffee. How do you say New Jersey? New coffee.
You got to get a little coffee, you know.
Fun fact: McCafe, right? It actually originated where I'm from, Melbourne. So in 1993, there was even like a big deal about it back in 2023 for the anniversary. So I would have been 8 years old. Yes, I'm not young, guys. I'm, like some of the comments I see on Facebook. They assume I'm some kind of kid who's just discovered all this stuff. Like, no.
No, we're two old farts. Was it 93? I was 5 in 93. I know my current appearance doesn't look like it, but yeah, I was.
You look 21, Manny. You look 21.
Oh, yeah. I'll be 21 forever.
Yeah. So those on YouTube, because we got this on the vertical format, that's just to play nice with Instagram. How's it looking?
Oh, me or them?
Everyone, yeah. Everyone.
Everybody's sing. Oh my God, we said that at the same time. That's disturbing.
We're watching too many Boscos, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna move my logo. Actually, I'm gonna adjust the, because it's sort of in my head a bit. Like, again, this is just part of what we're actually doing. Let me see. I'll align to the left. There we go. That's better. There we go. That's a bit better. Let's see how this is all going. Now, this is, we're just going to pretty much answer questions. So love the channel. Yep. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate the kind words. You know, but not many. You just like me, right? Yeah, yeah. He's not listening. Oh wait, sorry.
What?
What? What? Okay, so where says like one person watching from Facebook, and I've got like 95,000 people over there, and yet only one person. It's like, oh man, you're
Come on,
not
guys.
animated.
Rookie numbers. Step up your game. Let's see. SE says your name should be a little more aligned to the right to be fully visible.
Whose name? I don't have a name. I have a
Oh,
number.
that's SE that said that. This channel is amazing. Makes me appreciate the Looney Tunes even more. And I was like, yep, that's pretty much why he does what he does. And I'm here to ride his coattails. I mean, help along the ride. Hello? That's from
Hello, Donatello.
Donatello. Yeah, my second favorite turtle.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, Thermes. This is just us testing the waters. Because I really, really, really want to do more live streaming. Yeah, and it's just something. We've done this a few times, and they were fun. But as you get older, things get in the way. Life gets in the way. It is what it is. Damn weenie kids. I mean, sorry if my kids are watching. No, no. I actually took them out this morning. We went to the shops. That was hello, my baby. This stream's gonna be more exciting watching Mixmaster. Oh, jeez. Don't remind me. I gotta still edit that video. Guys watching this, write down how long do you think the recording session was with me, Manny, and SC. Just take a wild guess. And this is the raw audio. It's gonna be pared down, but take a wild guess.
Got to put the Jeopardy music on.
I don't have the cojones to live stream. All I can say is after doing the review for Going to Heaven on a Mule, I have the cojones to do anything, I think.
I've done some pretty...
Yeah, we've done some pretty nasty ones, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, and we still haven't even gotten to the late 60s ones. But then again, I would say I would rather do that than like some of the really unsavory ones from like the 30s and 40s.
Wow. I mean, some of the Walter Lance stuff's pretty full on. And funnily enough, the next member video to come live is actually a rather racially insensitive one, and that was actually requested of me, but it's got an interesting history, that Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. Which, I mean, to Lance's credit, he actually hired a person of color to actually do the main song, so there's that. So who's written down 4 weeks? Yeah, it will be like a Krusty after what is it, 300 something consecutive hours recording at Mixmaster. This frame looks nice. Next frame. This frame also looks nice. Next frame. Oh man. But now live streaming, you just go with it. All right. Opinion on the 1950s Popeye cartoons. They exist, and they actually remind me of wanting to watch the originals, because a lot of them are actually remakes. Whether they're either directly remakes or they're almost remakes, if that makes sense. I still want them restored and released, and I'm hoping this Tom and Jerry set that comes out will sort of open the floodgates a bit more to have complete sets. I think having the complete famous Popeyes in one set would be pretty good. I mean, what do you think?
I haven't seen too many of them. I mean, some of them I remember seeing like on the Popeye show back in the day, as well as on some public domain compilations. I have all the sets. They're actually right around here. I'm still in the process of organizing things. But yeah, I could literally see my Blu-ray of Popeye in the 1940s right there. And ideally, I'm a completionist. I would like to see all of them. I mean, I don't know how many were released in the 50s, because the set stopped in the 40s. And yeah, some of them from what I've seen are just they're pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel by that point. I think the last one was 19 Spooky Swabs. which I think is 56 or 57. But, hopefully sooner rather than later, we could just get them done. Just like, I'm still surprised that all the Tom and Jerry cartoons are coming out in today's what, November. Oh, today's my brother's birthday. Happy birthday to my big brother. So in about another 2 weeks, so December 2nd is when it comes out in the
Oh wait, we gotta
States.
do this for your brother. We'll do this for your brother. Hold on. Yay!
Yay. That's it. He ain't getting any more.
See,
Gonna get
we're
spoiled.
kind of like Steve Buscemi in that "How do you do, fellow kids?" kind of thing
Oh,
with streaming. He's like, "Oh, we can do this. We can do this,"
Ooh.
and you got all these streaming streamers like, so what? I use AI to create like me as like this mecha robot stomping the streets of Tokyo or something, and me, I'm just like, yeah, it's my little confetti. Boop.
Or you could put hair on me again if you want.
Nah, you got poisonality.
Poisonality, yeah. I see we got
Uh,
a Facebook comment from Rama. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Love your videos. My favorites are Bugs Bunny with Yosemite Sam. Hilarious. Yeah, that's a great pairing. I mean, the first few, especially like Hair Triggered and Bugs Bunny Rides Again, just stone cold classics. What's another one I can think of? Big House Bunny, Schultz. You know, That's
is that how your boss at your work calls out for you? It's like, Manny,
Cruz,
office,
Cruz.
office.
No. We need to have the compilation of Mel Blanc. Now get this. One more, you're fired. Get the. Do you hear that at work too?
Well, thankfully not at my work. Yes, it gets very loud over there, very loud. But let's have a look here. There's a reason they aren't on Blu-ray yet because they aren't the greatest. Maybe I'm assuming that's the reason, or just the fact that the elements might be really in a shocking condition. I don't know, but
Yeah.
let's have a look. They can be interesting on a production history level, at least given the back half of it's almost made up of recycled material. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Let's see. AI is not needed. Amen to that. Should we even mention the fact that AI is a bubble that's going to burst? I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you guys right now, look into shorting the AI bubble. Like, it's going to burst and you could make some money, but I'm not a financial advisor. Please do not.
Welcome to Anthony's Financial Talk.
It's a bubble because you know how much. I'm not going to go into this too much, but you know how much money, like, put aside the environmental stuff, put aside the ethics stuff. I'm just talking on a pure capitalism. This is the capitalism talk here, right? Do you know how much money it costs for every single prompt you put in? Like, it's like apparently there's not enough money coming in, and all these big companies, Nvidia and so on, all they're doing is just swapping money between each other. That's literally it. And they're saying, "Oh, I made $1 million. I made $1 million." That's because you swapped $1 million each. So, if you're gonna, the bubble will burst. The technology is here to stay. It's not going away, but you're going to see what's the equivalent of the dot-com boom in the late 2000s. So there'll be a massive crash, and then there'll be a retooling, and it can be useful. I'll tell you, the way I use AI personally, I know you'll be like, "Oh, Anthony using AI." No. I auto transcribe the recording sessions I do, and the reason I do that, it allows me to see the entire discussion, and I can go, okay, I can move this part of the talk here, here, and here, and clean up the audio. That use of AI, I think, is fine, or upscaling video, that kind of stuff. But generative AI, well, that can go to hell. Making something out of a bubble. You agree? What do you think, Manny?
I mean, pretty much. And then you also said it for the ethical and environmental reasons, which is main reason why I personally don't use it. I mean, I dabbled in it a few months ago. Like I think one of the things that I did was pretty much I'm like, let's see how accurate this thing is. So I did something where I was like, give me a biography on Chuck Jones. Give me, like stuff about music and cartoons I know a lot about. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of it is pretty spot on. A lot of it is wildly inaccurate. And obviously I know it has to feed more and more and more for it to get accurate. And obviously with the whole thing with AI in animation, I mean, I'm not an animator. I can't draw for my life, but obviously I'm a fan of animation. That's why I'm here. but just all the issues that it comes up with stealing people's artwork and just how lousy a lot of it looks like. And also with the music side of it, it's, we recently had there was an AI song that made it to the top of the charts. I forgot, not the Billboard Hot 100, but another chart. And a lot of us in the music industry is we're definitely not happy about it. It's not like, oh, you're stealing the money, but it's just also on a, an artistic level. It's, a lot of great music, whether it's from now, from 20, 30, 50, 70, hundreds of years ago, is based off the human experience. And you're not going to be able to replicate the human experience as much as you try to feed it into a machine. It's never going to replicate that emotion and the vulnerability that a human brings to their art. And obviously for the environmental thing, it's I think I think just for you to be like, oh, let me look up fun facts about chickens or whatever, and you type it in, and right there it uses a significant amount of water. We're already going crazy with the whole shortage of water in other parts of the world. And like I said, we're going to get into a whole long discussion about why AI is just not our cup of tea. And like you said, it's going to burst eventually. I mean, we were the dot-com bubble. I mean, I was in late elementary, middle school when that happened. So like, what's
And I was in high
2000?
school. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I mean, I don't remember too much about it because I was 11, 12 years old, but like reading back on it, I was like, oh, it makes sense. And
It makes sense to, like, there was literally no proper financial model for any of those things. But I admit I missed that world though before the bubble burst, because you didn't have these centralized companies, Google,
Mhm.
Meta, and so on. It's like you had all these different little companies all over the place, and it felt like a community. It just had a better vibe to it. And people were making personal websites. I wish we could go back to that kind of a thing again when it comes to the internet. But to bring it back to animation, you mentioned about the water with AI. You can say it's a glass of water.
That's a what?
There you go. We brought it back. We brought it back.
There you go.
There's our good friend. Admittedly, whenever I see this name, I read it incorrectly. I know it's Jorge. Jorge, Jorge. That's your. Manny,
Jorge.
help me.
Yeah.
Jorge, thank you.
Yeah, Jorge. I mean, I have a friend. I don't know if he's listening. So hi. His name is spelled Jorge, but he pronounces it George.
Yeah,
But
must have mixed it up.
I'm assuming this Jorge, a buddy of ours. Yeah, it's pronounced Jorge.
Yeah,
Not Jorge. Jorge,
yeah,
no,
but
not
yeah,
like
but
that.
but I guess the English wiring of my brain reads immediately as George when, yes, I know. So yes,
Hello,
I do. I did learn. But no, it's great to see you here.
Hello,
Um,
George.
if
Hello,
it's
Jorge.
financial talk, would love to see that. I'm actually, I'm admittedly, I do like dipping my toes in that kind of thing, but I'll let other experts deal with all that stuff. So let's see, SC. I would say the buddies suck more for more interesting reasons than the tired, aimless, and arts material. Amen.
Mhm.
Buddies are just fascinating. The buddy shorts, and for the folks who haven't been over to the YouTube channel, I've reviewed every single buddy short, and I'm surprised I'm still alive, because they start off interesting, but man, whew, they're tough. I should probably do like a charity thing where I watch all 24 of them in a row and see if I survive. But honestly, I'd rather do that Tom and Jerry set, the one that's coming out in a couple of weeks. I saw that on the back cover, it's like 800 and something minutes. So that's like 13 hours. Maybe I should do a charity thing where for 13 hours straight, I'll watch all the Tom and Jerry's in a row. That could be an interesting little charity drive.
And eat nothing but, I don't know, like sardines and cheese for Tom and for Jerry.
Yes.
And drink milk. I don't know what mice drink, but
Camden, one of our other mutual mates, mutual friend, who's also on the channel as well. Hey, it's those old guys. Don't worry, buddy. You'll be old too at some
Yeah,
point.
that's what I used to say years ago. I kid you not. I kid. And I think literally he's going to write kid since he's younger than us.
Yes, he is. AI art is cursed. I mean, I wouldn't even use the word art in there. AI generated material is cursed is probably the better word. I get what you're saying. I know what you meant, but I think we as a society need to just get around that whole. We shouldn't call it art. We should call it AI generated material. That's it. because that's literally what it is.
Indeed. Yep.
Let's see. The hit critic also made the point that the buddies are at least well animated for the most part. Yeah, I can agree with that. And some of the Jack King ones, especially on the beginning, they got these interesting angles, and especially Buddy's Bearcats, the greatest short of all time. Quick side note, I will let people know why I keep going back to Buddy's Bearcats. I do explain it in that video, but the running gag with Buddy's Bearcats, and why I always mention it, is that when I was covering them in order, they were mostly bland with a few high points here and there. But as soon as Buddy Bearcats comes out, it really was a breath of fresh air. It was very energetic. All those the crazy energy coming from the short with those weird angles and stuff. Objectively, it's not a great short, but man, compared to what came before, I was like, wow, this is wow. So yeah, and so I was made a video how excited I was, and then some people were like, "Oh, calm down," in the comments. So I just play up on that. So that's fun. Let's see. AI sucks. Takes away from so much talent from real people. I do agree. Yes, indeed. AI upscaling changes video forever, altering what's really there in favor of hallucinations, apparently. YouTube has been applying it to some videos automatically without consent. I can clarify that YouTube thing. I saw an update of theirs. People can opt out of it. I would have preferred it was opt-in, but it is what it is. You don't have to have it on there. Upscaling, and I'm someone that's actually gone back, and I've actually upscaled a lot of the Disney Treasures stuff that was done in standard definition.
Ooh.
I've upscaled a lot of it, and it looks really. The results are really, really good. Is it perfect? Will it match a proper high definition scan? No, but it does approximate it pretty well. And I agree, though, when people just click a button, let it upscale, and don't check the video, yeah, you definitely have to check for some funky stuff that could happen. So, music. I didn't know you were a music enthusiast, Manny.
I am? Since when?
Yeah, no. I thought you were just wrestling and nothing but wrestling. That's why before, when you mentioned the word Stone Cold.
Well, I still need to hang this up in this room, but one of my diplomas.
I thought you were going to hang up your certificate for eating the most slice of pizzas in one sitting for the Ninja Turtles night at your local pizzeria.
It was it peanut butter cup and peanut butter cup and pickles pizza, like all those ridiculous combinations they had in the show in the original. Yeah, I'm never gonna do it. I love peanut butter cups, but not on pizza. The question was, being a music enthusiast, apparently, allegedly, which children's show composer do you prefer, Joe Raposo or Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell? I really only know Raposo's work from Sesame Street. The other two guys, I've heard of them, but I don't know too much about them, so I'm just going to have to say Raposo. But if you have any recommendations, JCL 5611, great name. Send them my way on my social medias at the Toonie Tenor and email, and I'm always open to hear new stuff.
Beautiful. Now, what is that username? I don't get the reference. What is it?
It was just Soul 5611. I don't know. Maybe the initials.
Yeah. Apparently, the water thing is way overblown, but it does use a ton of electricity for no good reason. But yeah, debatable, but yeah, I think we can all agree it's a waste of resources either way. So
it's a lot of water and a lot of electricity.
How much dive into this glass of water? There we are. So he's clarifying. Yeah, that's what I thought, and yeah. Comic Spees. Is going to his other
guys
account.
Again.
My family's from South Sudan. Yes, and but I live in Canada with my little brother and my mum. I hope things are going great for you in Canada. My good friend Blue Genocide, he edits a lot of my member videos, and we've got some stuff coming out as well. So I know a few Canadians. You gotta play some hockey over there. I don't know. I can't do the Canadian accent. You get maple syrup, eh? I love Canadians. I mean, I would love to go to Canada. I've never actually been to America. I've never been to Canada. The biggest problem is the exchange rate between Australian dollars and the other dollars, and that's what this is. This is a fundraiser to send me to America. No, I'm just
no.
It's like
You might want to wait a while.
yeah,
Ugh.
we're
Yeah.
not raising money for a children's hospital or fundraiser. No. We're gonna raise money to send a 40-year-old white guy from Australia on a holiday to America. It's definitely worthwhile. Okay, let's see. A Jerry Lewis telethon. Hey, lady. I know I'm not gonna do that. Let's see. Manny, that would become Anthony's animation vomit if that was his diet as well.
Sardines, cheese, and milk. Ugh.
I'm going to change. That's it. I'm changing my channel name to Anthony's Animation Vomit. So covering only the atrocious cartoons over the years. So that could be good. Where I just make fun of really bad stuff that's come out. All right. Question: what is your favorite Jack King short at Disney? He did better over there. I agree. Part of that, I think, is to do with you got Carl Barks on the writing team originally, and of course he eventually ended up doing the comic books, Scrooge McDuck, and all that stuff. And I am simplifying things over here, but that's pretty much why Jack King did better over there is because he had a better writing team, and even in the earlier days of Warner's, they didn't really have a writing team so much. I mean, especially when first of all the Boscos they just went and animated. They didn't really plan stories so much. In fact, there's even one Bosco short where they literally didn't know how to end the short, so they made a joke about them not being able to end it. But Disney, they storyboarded and planned things out, and I think Jack King was better for it. But as for my favorite shorts, I don't know if I have a specific favorite, but pretty much anything with Huey, Dewey, and Louie, I think, I think their first appearance is probably my favorite. Do you? What are you laughing at?
No, because when you said Huey, Dewey, Louie, and I'm thinking of Huey Lewis in the News, I was like, wait a minute, that's a band. I mean, I know who Huey, Louie, and Dewey are.
I was starting to question myself. Going,
No.
hang on. I got the names right, didn't I?
We could do, we could do. Was it If This Is It? I Want a New Drug. What's another song of theirs that I like? The Power of Love from Back to the Future. The power of love.
Why are we flagged? We're flagged. Sorry, music copyright now because of
great. Yeah, I can't sing. I have to do like the songs that are approximations of it. Like Weedell's version. Sing the wrong note.
Have you heard the Weedell's version? I Want a New Duck.
I never heard that one. I Want a New Duck.
Give it a go. I love Weedell. Give me Weedell. Rama, she's said, do you guys cover the original Johnny Quest episodes? No. I have only seen a few episodes. I do have the Blu-ray of all the episodes, and I do want to watch them because, they definitely got an amazing visual look, especially within the confines of television animation. So, but yeah, I'd like to take a look at those. I definitely would. Let's see. Waste of water. I know I am, but it is what it is.
No, it's waste of water.
Water. Let's see. So it's his initials, JCL. Okay. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Okay.
I've never been to Spain, but I kind of like the music there. I mean, I'd love to go to Spain. I'd love to go to Europe. So
yeah, my ancestors are from there. I know my great grandparents from my dad's side. Either them, my great or my great grandparents were born in Spain. So, hopefully one day I could go visit. That'd be swell. I mean, I want to visit a ton of places. Obviously, I would like to go to Australia. Visit Brisbane and
yes,
Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne and obviously Anthony had to coach me on the proper ways. It's Brisbane and Melbourne.
And the funny thing is, I've got a T-shirt from the concert by Billy Ocean. I saw him in concert. He came to Melbourne, and they actually misspelled Melbourne on the back. So yeah, that was great. I loved it though. Great concert, by the way. I actually saw the week before. I saw Eric Clapton. It was fine. And yes, I know, problematic. I know, but great music. I didn't know what he was like or anything. I just knew his music. I went there but pretty much he didn't engage the audience much at all. It was just play the song, thank you, play the song, thank you, play the song, and that was it. It was just mechanical. It was so mechanical. But then Billy Ocean, whose ticket price was like maybe a quarter of what I paid for Eric Clapton, he was so engaging to the audience. He was talking with them. He had these awesome dreads because he's from the Caribbean, so he's got these big white dreads now, and it was a fantastic night. I loved it. Let's see. Next question from Comic Spees, Mr. Camden Spees. How am I organizing the omnibuses behind me for publisher or alphabetic? How about poorly? Okay, that's my answer. Let's see. McKimson staging was terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with some shots could have been better, but overall, I don't mind. Let's see. Canada is a wonderful country. Everything's great except for the snow and the government. Well, look, we'll keep government talk out of this, but here's a fun fact for you guys. We don't really get snow here, except in the mountains during winter. That's literally it. There have been one or two freak storms, but they happen maybe once every few decades, if that.
You're not missing out when it comes to snow.
The last time I saw snow, a few months ago, I went to Japan. Actually, that's one of the advantages of actually living in Australia. You can go to Japan fairly cheaply because it's a shorter flight. We were going to do the Mount Fuji tour. Me and my friends will celebrate our 40th birthdays pretty much, and it was supposed to be like a spring tour at the base of Mount Fuji or whatever. But there was a snowstorm. And we ended up going there, and it was snow everywhere, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. I mean, I would imagine it'd be annoying to have to walk through there every single day or whatever, but as a tourist, it was amazing. It was like a winter wonderland. It was perfect.
Nani? There's my Japanese.
Nani?
Nani? When you saw the snow.
Oh, yes. And speaking of Japan, on Sunday, I met Mari Shimasu. She's the lady who originally voiced Astro Boy back in the 1960s and the 1980s series. Mari Shimatsu. She visited Australia for the first time ever. I've even got my photo with her over here somewhere. I still got to print it. So there she is. I hope people can see it. There she is. She's clearly a very tall lady,
You were on stilts the whole time.
I was on stilts. That's right. They had to be done. But no, lovely lady. She didn't speak a lick of English. That's to be expected. She actually was the voice of Peter Pan, Disney's Peter Pan. Yeah, for Japan, funnily enough. And during the talk, they even had one of the original records from Japan where they had the music from Peter Pan, but it was her dubbing over it on that record. And, it was very interesting to listen to. And her whole life experience. And she's 89. And they did a impromptu thing where they were doing working on a script, and yeah, she still got it. Granted, she doesn't sound too much like a boy, but it's still pretty close. So I ended up getting this signed, Astro Boy. Fred Ladd might be a name a lot of you may or may not be aware of, but he was the one that was instrumental in getting these done. So I got to sign that for the 80s series and for the 1960s series.
Nice.
So there you are. So I had to. I mean, the thing about the 60s series is the animation is incredibly limited, and also the pacing of the story, man. Things just happen, and then it's like, oh, this person's died. Oh, on to the next thing. Like it's very stilted, but but still has a lot of energy to it. I highly recommend watching at least a few episodes of Astro Boy. And they didn't end up dubbing all the episodes. In fact, this is not the complete set. They made a few more episodes, but they never dubbed them. But one of the bonus features is the final episode in Japan where Astro Boy dies. Yeah, because he just does. He flies into the sun, literally. And I know Manny Simpsons reference, right? The whole Halloween thing.
Oh, the
celebrities.
Yeah. Actually, now they say Astro Boy. Did you ever see it did come out, the Emoji film from like 2008-9 of Astro Boy?
The CG one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen it actually, funnily enough. I know that they did make an animated series in 2003. I've not seen that one either. But I think Astro Boy's due for a comeback, I think.
I've never seen. I mean, I know Astro Boy and I've seen clips of it. I've never watched it, but because the company that made that one was Imaji Studios. They made the 2007 TMNT film, and then after that they made Astro Boy, and apparently that's what caused the studio to shut down because of it just didn't perform, as well as they had hoped.
Let's have a look. Doug Wildley, Wildies, I should say. I keep thinking Wildly for some reason. English. I'll eventually get used to reading English. He's
Me
also
feel
responsible.
English, that's impossible.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was. Yeah. Johnny Quest. Planet of the Apes cartoon I've seen only once or twice, but that was released during a time where animation was really at a low point during the 70s, where it was just very, very stilted stuff. That's why I find it interesting when people comment on Facebook that they're like, oh, you're lying, this wasn't released, there was no color TV in the 40s, because they assume it was made in the 70s because they saw it on Saturday morning, so they assumed it was made for that period, when no, what you saw that was made for that period is the Scooby-Doo and stuff of that quality. Although I will be fair to Scooby-Doo, I will defend the Where Are You series, the first 2 seasons. They're actually fun. When they didn't settle into a formula, they actually are fun. But everything else after that, my goodness. To be fair, there's probably stuff I haven't seen that's probably good. But yeah, Where Are You? I do recommend people see at least the first 2 seasons. Let's see. What have we got here? But if you want quality barks, that's not how we say books, by the way. Barks. Carl Barks is what he means. Buy the new Taschen book. Man, there's so many good things coming out, but so little money. And yeah, I wish I could get a lot of those books. I still got to get the oversized Mickey book and the Donald book. I really want the oversized version. I've got the smaller version of the Mickey one, but they cut out a lot of stuff from it. But I'll never get rid of it because my wife bought it for me for Christmas presents, so I'm not going to get rid of that one. No way. Let's see. Billy Ocean Rules. That's awesome. He really was awesome. I can say a lot about Clapton. That's fine. Austria has some good ski resorts, I hear. Fun fact, I tried skiing once back in 1997 and I hated it so much I will never ever do it again. It was sorry. To each their own. If you love skiing, great. Power 2 doesn't mean I'm going to start a campaign banning ski resorts here, okay? I really don't care. But I tried it once and yeah, I hated it so much. I was like, nah, never again. So, have you tried skiing, Manny?
Never did, but I did go snowboarding. I don't know, about close to 10 years ago. I went with some of my buddies, and they've gone snowboarding a bunch, and I didn't. I was freaking miserable because I kept falling. I hit my head on something. I had like a cut. It was not my cup of tea. And I'm also, I mean, right now we're in fall, obviously here in the northern hemisphere, and
Spring here.
and I'm not a fan of cold weather. I mean, it's been dropping to the 30s some mornings or 0 Celsius in your case, and I'm a late spring summer person. I just don't like the cold. I could tolerate it because I've lived here pretty much my entire life, but I hate the cold, and snowboarding was no fun.
I prefer it, but that's just me, and the whole thing is just I can bundle up, but I can't, wander around naked in the public streets, that
Yeah,
kind
don't
of
do
thing.
that.
No, no, definitely not. And part of my job, it involves me going outside as well. And during the heat here, yeah, it's fun. And some of the stuff you got to handle outside, this is metal that's been in the hot sun. So
Ooh.
yeah. But hey, it's better than customer service. I can tell you that. I'd rather nearly burn my hands on hot metal than be in a call center again. That's for sure. Let's see. Yeah, you have never experienced the Mexican background music of the AAP package. Cartoon Network buried those versions when they began with the dub versions. No, admittedly, I haven't seen them. So,
See, now I'm curious about that because I'm assuming that the Mexican background music was probably the same version that my mother used to see. Because my mom's not Mexican. She was born and raised in Puerto Rico, but she remembers seeing these films as a kid in the 60s and 70s. And I'm curious now to see, like, if I were to find a clip of like the pre-dubbed version, AAP versions of like the Spanish dub, or like if that's some music that Jorge is referring to. Because I mean, like I remember when I bought one of the Popeye Blu-ray sets, and I was watching a cartoon with her, and it was actually Popeye a la mode. That was the first one I watched because I heard so much about that short, but I never actually got to see it. And obviously, it's not a it's has not aged well, that short. And my mom watched it with me, and she was like, I remember seeing this one as a kid in Puerto Rico. I was like, oh boy, sometime in the 70s or whatever. But now I'm curious about that music thing. Maybe if I show her a clip and like, hey ma, listen to this. And she might, oh, I remember hearing that. Because it's always weird, like whenever you watch a foreign, because I've seen clips of like foreign dubs of Warner Brothers shorts, and it's just like whenever they replace, what Carl Stalling or not Milt Franklin, he wasn't doing it then, but like whenever they replace Carl Stalling's music, it's like, oh, it's very jarring. Or like Norman Spencer, Bernard Brown, it's like ugh. I'm so used to hearing that stuff, and then when you hear like some random production music that has nothing to do with a Warner Brothers short, it's just like use that. So yeah.
Let me have a look. Everyone's saying wow on the stuff, which that's nice. Opinion on British animation production studio from the 30s and 40s. I've not seen too many of that, and I aim to expand my palette with that kind of stuff. The closest to the British animation that I really saw was when I was a kid. They would bring over from Britain to here a lot of animation. There's one that was called Bangers and Mash. I remember that one. I think Raggy Dolls was another one. Geez, it was a while back, but yeah, they brought over a lot of stuff. Although Bangers and Mash has got one of the best theme songs, you could say it's an absolute. Say it with me, Manny.
Banger.
Hold on. You're right.
Hey. I was like, wait, where are we going with this?
I'm trying here. Let's see. What else is there? Did I ever grow up with the Rankin Bass Christmas specials? I have a confession to make. I've not seen any of them.
Ooh, that makes two of us.
I know of them, and look, they probably were played here. I just never came across them.
I never watched. Reason. Yeah, same.
For whatever reason,
they have them on TV. It's as every year or whatever. I think now they're on the streaming services. But yeah, I think really the only holiday special that I saw growing up is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's it.
And even that one for me, funnily enough, that one and even the Peanut specials, I never saw until maybe a few years ago, like 5 years ago. None of them. Never.
Same. Still haven't seen them.
The one I did see was the Looney Tunes one, the Looney Tunes Christmas Tales. So I also remember seeing that one. But other than that, I was more like Home Alone kind of guy. I was more those
I haven't
kind
seen that in years. I
watch it every year. I show it to my kids and they love it, and it's like a staple for us. A Christmas Vacation as well. Funnily enough, I actually showed my kids. Look, they're 11 and 12, so they're old. I showed them the first one, and I completely forgot that it was way more risque than Christmas Vacation. But it's still funny. They thought it was funny though, and they're not like it's like Beverly D'Angelo topless in a few scenes. Okay, well, I forgot all about that. I had to actually, and I was like, okay, trivia time. She was in the Simpsons episode. She does Lurleen. She does her voice. So there you go. So I had to sort of, but yeah, it's not a big deal. They're like, yeah, whatever. They're a pair of breasts. Move on. Who cares? Let's see what else is here. What is my favorite Gold Diggers of 49 ship? I don't know what the term ship means.
I think I do, and I'm like, wait, shipping like a relationship, like pairing, like. I didn't know that Gold Diggers of 40, because I know that's like a big term in the anime industry or anime fandom. But Beans and Little Kitty? I mean, there you go. That's like the only ship I could think of. Porky with his sandwich.
That's the one.
That's the best one. Porky and his sandwich. Yo,
whoopee! Is that you when you see a really good pizza, like when you sit down?
Yeah.
Whoopee! And everyone just
whenever I go to all you can eat sushi, yo, whoopee!
Steph, hey, it's Steph.
Hi, Steph.
I used to see Animal Land shorts from the 40s made in the UK on TCM sometimes. Yeah, I think they were done by David Head. I believe so. Let's see. Most of the background music can be seen in old versions of the Laurel Hardy short Two Tars.
Mm.
Huh.
Yeah, thank you for that information.
Let's see. I used to watch the Rankin Bass version of The Hobbit a lot as a little kid. Yeah, that was always a weird thing. The Rankin Bass did The Hobbit, and they did The Return of the King, but Ralph Bakshi did The Lord of the Rings that ended on like a cliffhanger of sorts, and it just was never finished. And yet, you would assume that The Return of the King would finish it, but no, it doesn't. It's a different thing entirely. It's so weird. But I do recommend the Bakshi ones. Let's see, Beanie Cecil. Well, I haven't actually seen too much of it. I do want to see it. Thoughts on the Dean Deitch Tom and Jerry's? If you've seen a lot of the Eastern European animation, Manny, I know, work in Parasite. You're about to mention the Eastern Europe's favorite cat and mouse team, Worker and Parasite.
And Parasite.
Enjoy. You know, there's this whole gibberish. A lot of the animation from over there is pretty similar to that, actually. And a lot of it's actually really good. Gene Deitch, you just got to look at Tom Terrific and a few of the other things he's done, and it's actually really good. Tom and Jerry, I think it was just the great director but wrong project. And I think even he sort of didn't quite get a grasp of what Tom and Jerry's supposed to really be, you know. But they're fascinating. There's only 13 of them, so yeah, they're fine for what they are. I do like the Tom and Jerry cartoon kit one. That's probably my favorite because it's like them trying to make, you can make your own cartoon, which, funnily enough, going back to what we're saying about AI, you kind of can do now, just really, really badly. So there you are. Let's see. Thoughts on Tiny Toons? I watched that a ton as a kid. I'm old, guys. I'm 40. When I say old, you know, old. I grew up with Tiny Toons. I don't really remember much of it. And I do want to one day revisit them. And funnily enough, Norm McCabe even worked on a few. Like he was one of the OG Looney Tunes directors. He actually worked on it. So there you go. Let's see. Steph, never saw the Rankin Bass Return of the King. I don't think you're missing out on much, but hey, you know, give it a go. Reading the token books right now, it's taking me a while. Well, they're big books, but the funny thing about this, I mean, one of the things I have trouble with when I read fantasy books, I have terrible memory retention when it comes to that kind of thing. So I'll read something, and then when I get back into the book, I would have immediately forgotten what had happened. And you would have maybe one whole paragraph or a few paragraphs describing a character perfectly, but I would actually forget what the character looks like. It's like they would give some weird name and they'll describe him, and then I'll just completely forget about it. So I cannot read fantasy books. That's why I gravitate, as you can see behind me, more towards graphic novels, comic books, that kind of stuff, because I just struggle with it. I cannot read fantasy books the way a lot of people can, and I'm kind of jealous that people can do that, but I just can't. For whatever reason, my memory just doesn't work particularly well on that. I don't know what it is. You know, if any psychologists are watching this stream somehow, you can let me know if that's a real condition or not.
I was going to say something real quick about Tiny Toons because I did watch it a lot as a kid, either on, I think it was originally on Fox.
Oh, the WB.
The W. I need a drink, says the guy who doesn't drink. But yeah, Fox. Fox 5 here, you know, the New York City area. I would see it there, and then I would also see episodes on Nickelodeon. I would see episodes occasionally on Cartoon Network years ago. I was a fan of the show. I enjoyed the characters. I know there are, and it's ironic because I sometimes tend to be a Looney Tune purist. You know, I'm all about the original theatrical shorts. I don't care really for the stuff that came afterwards. I never really watched Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. Lunatics Unleashed, obviously not that. Baby Looney Tunes, the Looney Tunes show, all those things I never cared for. Space Jam I used to love as a kid. Now as an adult, I really don't care for it. But I always did enjoy Tiny Toons. There's an Instagram page that they've been, like repost clips of Tiny Toons. And I just rewatched some of them, and it's like, yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one. But also, like you said before, just the absolute difference in different animation studios, depending on the episode. I think two of them that I could think of is TMS, a Tokyo something TMS, which and someone's probably going to correct me, but I think the TMS episodes were the cream of the crop, really well animated, so on and so forth. And then you had one, I think it's from Kennedy Cartoons, that was very loose and rubbery, and like the characters looked fatter and squashed. And I reposted a clip on my Toonie Tenor Instagram of, it was this character. I think that, like, I forgot what animal it was, or I think it was a flea or whatever. And he's like, dude, a dude out, tune, or there's a tune in, a tune out. And I'm like, holy crap, I haven't seen that clip in years. And a buddy of mine, Jim Holden, hi Jim, I don't know if you're watching the stream, he messaged me and he was like, is that Rob Paulson or Phil Lamar? And I'm like, when I heard that clip, I instantly knew that has to be Rob Paulson, because Paulson, he did a few voices on the show. He did Foul Mouth, the Foghorn Leghorn equivalent on a show. And of course, you were saying the Looney Tune connection with Norm McCabe, who worked on Tiny Toons, as well as, the original run. And then I was like, well, just like Rob Paulson, because Norm McCabe worked on Tiny Toons, but he also worked on the 1987 Ninja Turtle series. And Rob Paulson, obviously, he worked on Tiny Toons. Later on, he became even bigger when he worked on Animaniacs as Yakko. And, of course, Rob Paulson, the voice of Raphael in the original 87 cartoon. And the 2012 cartoon is Donatello. So, nice little Looney Tunes, Ninja Turtles, Tiny Toons rap. And I actually got to meet, speaking of Rob Paulson, I mean, I'd love to talk to him. I'd love to take, voice acting lessons with him. I got to meet him briefly 2 years ago. I drove to Rhode Island Comic-Con. So I drove in one day to Rhode Island, took a photo, and then drove back to New Jersey. That was fun because I had to sing him the next day. But I got to take a picture with the cast of the original Ninja Turtle series. Cam Clark as Leonardo, Barry Gordon as Donatello, Michelangelo Townsend Coleman. And I got to meet him another time, and I almost teared up because he did Michelangelo's voice talking to me. And Rob Paulson and Renee, who's Raphael, and Renee Jacobs, April O'Neil. It was, very quick. I rarely take photos with celebrities because I go to New York Comic Con almost every year. I went to San Diego Comic Con last year. But just like, I don't know, even in that brief interaction, like you could tell, like Rob Paulson's just genuinely a very, very nice guy. And I just wish I had a chance. Maybe one day at like New York, I'll finally come up to him and have him sign a Raphael Funko Pop. Because I do want to get all the original Turtle voice actors to sign these pops I have from the original series. And I forgot to mention too, I wanted to shout out our buddy Jonathan Graves. Hi, Jonathan, because he does repost some of those Tiny Toon clips. I was like, yeah, I can get those memories. That's the host of This Means podcast, so go check it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely check out his stuff. He's definitely an all-round nice guy as well. He's got a cute little kid as well. Looking all growing up really fast as well.
You might say he does a lot of great stuff.
Great stuff. Indeed. Let's see. We've got a few more comments here. Let's see. The lore of Lord of the Rings is very complicated, but I'm very into it. I think my brain is just not wired to absorb fantasy. I think I need it fed to me like visual form, and I think that's just it. I'm just more of a visual kind of learner, and that's probably why, as I mentioned before, when I edit the videos, I like to see visually what's been recorded. That's why I use the AI to transcribe so I can see what I'm doing, and that works so much better for me. So there's that. But do I believe the rumor that the reason why the Rudy Lariva, by the way, I used to think it was named Lariva, but I know it's Lariva. Lariva. Yeah, you can roll the tongue. I can't. There you go.
Lariva. Rudy.
Roadrunner cartoons were so bad was despite Chuck Jones for failing to rehire Rudy after the war. No. That's just that. The budgets were just terrible, and they had to resort to things like recycling music, recycling literally the same full animation of the Coyote numerous times in a short. There were some creative ideas like the Soul Tin Coyote and all that. So the ideas were interesting, but ultimately, the budgets affected the actual production. So no, I don't think that was the case at all. And for those who aren't aware, Rudy Lariva was an animator on Chuck Jones's unit in the early 40s, so they actually did work together. So yeah. Let's see. Would I've seen any of them? You're really missing out. Rudolph, Frosty, Santa Claus. Look, I will see him eventually. It's just, yeah, I'm a busy guy. Let's see. Norma Cabe also worked on the Transformers Generation 1 cartoon. Yeah,
Nice.
he sure did. Hello, Funny Man Timmy. Let's see. Random Simpsons fact. I've been repeatedly watching the Nightmare Cafeteria Treehouse of Horror segment. It's so darkly hilarious. I agree. It's one of their best. Because I just like the whole Skinner trying to be subtle, but not being subtle at the same time. You could say we ate Uda up. Like he's... You know the scene I'm talking about.
That, well, I know this is not a controversial opinion, but that was a Treehouse of Horror 5. It's still the best Treehouse of Horror the Simpsons ever made. But yeah, Nightmare Cafeteria, I remember watching it as a kid originally, and obviously The Shining. I actually still have never seen The Shining before. I'm not a hard.
You want to get sued?
Oh yeah, The Shining, and not between 4 or 5. That's Manny's time. Yeah, I still haven't seen The Shining. I've seen clips of it, obviously, and like people put like they do like Homer next to Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall with Marge and all that. And I actually did a little bit in one of my music classes in college. Like my professor was playing clips of The Shining because it uses a particular classical composer. I think it was Penderecki. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. That was years ago.
Great score by Wendy Carlos.
She did it?
Yes.
Oh, because I know her mainly from Clockwork Orange.
Music.
Yeah, what? But yeah,
I think when Clockwork Orange was done, that was pre-transition.
Yeah,
I think she was known as Walter then, and then so there was Wendy Carlos, and she rarely does interviews, but she did an interview a few years ago. I think it's a definitely fascinating read. Definitely look that up. Yeah, see, I know things.
But yeah, with the creeping out thing, as I already forgot who said that before. Oh, it was JCL. Yeah, the ending, especially when their skin comes out, and then they start doing one from a chorus line. As a kid, I was like, "What the heck am I watching?" But yeah, so I love the best Treehouse of Horror. Good taste.
and freeze frame them actually turning inside out though. That's some of the frames from that bit. Just it's
again, I'm not a horror movie person, so I'm like, but
it's beautiful. Let's see. Favorite Thanksgiving cartoon is probably the same one you like, Manny. The Daffy and Porky one.
Tom Turk and Tom Turk and Daffy is probably in my top 10 of Warner Brothers cartoons. That's how much I like it.
Yeah, I love it. Preferred 90s Warner property. I mean, I will defer that it's Batman the Animated Series is probably my favorite. But I have been looking at a few things like Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. I saw maybe 1 or 2 episodes as a kid, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I just never watched the rest. But since I got HBO Max, which actually finally arrived in Australia only a few months ago, funnily enough, took ages to get here, just like electricity. There's another Simpsons reference there. But I thought, I'll give it a watch, and it's amazing that it's such a tribute to Friz Freleng and what he did at Warner's. It's basically Friz Freleng, the tribute cartoon. That's basically what it is. It's not perfect, but my goodness, they really knew their stuff. And even the score, I reckon, Manny, you'd love the score of Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. They really go all in and try and emulate what Carl Starling did with the whole musical puns all throughout. You can hear all of it. So I highly, highly recommend it. But in terms of my favorite, it would have to be Batman the Animated Series. And I was able to meet the actual, Batman actor, Kevin Conroy. He came to the late great Kevin Conroy came to Melbourne in 2013, and I got a photo with him, got a few things autographed as well. And he was such a gentleman as well. Like he knew how to deal with a jerk really well. Like there was actually a Q&A thing, but he was also kind of subtly also promoting one of the direct-to-video Batman projects that were coming out roughly around that time, and he ended up mentioning the story was based off a Justice League story, and it's actually a really good one. And someone in the audience actually yelled out the spoiler that it was,
Oh god.
that it was this character. I don't want to spoil it myself, but it's this character doing it all along. He looks over, and then, but the way he moved on was just like he's dismissing it entirely. It was like the most professional thing ever, but you could tell that any lesser person would have probably screamed at that person. People who read the comic would have known the twist, but not everyone's read the comic. Like, why be a jerk like that? But no, it was a lovely guy. And when I saw that, when he passed away, it was like that year was 2022 was terrible. Not just for Kevin Conroy, you also lost the late comic book artist George Perez. I met him a few times. Oh, he was such a gentleman. One of the best artists ever. Tim Sale. He did the Long Halloween, and that's the basis of The Dark Knight and a few other of the Batman films. One of the greatest Batman stories of all time. And his art style was impeccable. And I got to meet him as well. Neil Adams, we lost him. Legendary Batman artist. Even one people may not know him as much, but he's had a prominent role in 90s comics and a lot of the DC and Marvel. Carlos Pacheco, he's a Spanish artist. He came to Melbourne again. I got to meet him too. But they're all amazing people. But we lost so many of them that year. And by the end of the 2022, I was like going, man, all these people I adored growing up just passing away. All of a sudden, it was like, what the heck? And some of them were quite young too. So yeah, okay. It's depressing. But I got to meet him. But preferred 90s Warner property would have to be definitely Batman the Animated Series. Let's see. Tom A said, yes, I can't stand when books have a million characters to remember. Fantasy does seem to be the worst here, and the Lord of the Rings books were unbearably so for me. I have heard that Lord of the Rings you need a lot of patience for, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. One of my favorite movies of all time is Once Upon a Time in America. The preferred cut is like 4 hours and 15 minutes. And when you watch that, it feels like the time just flies by. And I've watched movies that are like only 80 minutes long and it feels like it's forever. So, yeah. But yeah, Lord of the Rings is definitely something you need patience for. Putting aside the more controversial ones, any Looney Tunes you're hoping makes a cut on the next Blu-ray? You're really hoping for Teenage Thumb myself. Yeah, that's a good one. There's a few Tweeties and Sylvesters I would like on there. The Cat's Tail, I just recently reviewed that for the channel. That one would be a good one. But I think we all know, Manny, which one we want on the set. Okay, I know you're probably going to think I'm going to say Buddy's Bear Cats, but no. A real one. I want to see. I'd love to see Fresh Hair. I'd love to see that one. That was controversial because of the last scene, of course, that minstrel scene. But the one with the genie, I'd like that one restored finally. That's a great one.
Oh, Aladdin is Lamp. Yeah.
That's a great one.
I mean, I think we've said it before, in talking, and I always tell people, say, look, if right now Warner Brothers was like, well, Tom and Jerry, I guess, is leading the way with finally releasing all of them. But they say right now we're going to do all 1,000 shorts. It's going to be a huge set, several $100s, whatever. I'll buy it in a heartbeat. I don't care if it's double dipping or not. But when it comes to, Teenage Thumb, yeah, it's a good one. I mean, I remember seeing that one a lot on Nickelodeon as a kid. Gonna have to shout out our buddy Huey Nelson. Hi, Huey. And he and I are team Hardaway Dalton. And I know in particular, I know Huey will appreciate this one, but Hobo Gadget Band and Fagin's Freshman is another one that I really would love to see restored. I mean, both of these shorts are not restored. And
Hobo Gadget Band, I really would like. Hobo Gadget Band. Complete with Peter Colvig doing that song, which I believe he also even wrote for that short as well.
And this one's already been restored. Speaking of Hardaway Dalton, and I have I'll save it for my Manny's Music Time segment. I have a very complicated history with this cartoon, but Gold Rush days, I would I would finally like to see that one released on physical. Well, besides crappy public domain releases like what I saw as a kid. But like I said, I have a very interesting story about that one. And once we get to that one, because Yeah, I'll go more into detail because I'm still in 1936 in Manny's music time. I'm a little behind.
That's all right. That's all right. We will catch up. Let It Be Me, I think, is the next one you'll be contributing to. So
And I just did Holy Smoke a few days ago, and I love that short. I mean, that one's on physical media, but that's one of my favorite Tashlin shorts, and I was happy to finally do it.
and that's pretty much whenever I see your audio, I always say, "Holy smoke!" I'm going to edit. Yeah. So I haven't watched Rankin Bass. Yeah, well,
Same here.
Yeah,
I haven't.
It's just something that just never got. I never really watched TV even before streaming and all that. I don't know. I mostly rented movies, that kind of stuff. That's what I mainly did. I just never really watched TV that much. I don't know. Maybe I was a strange kid. I have no idea. But yeah,
Strange adult too. Wait,
yeah.
who said that?
Oh, wait, what?
I should talk.
Yeah. So The Shining is good. Not my favorite Kubrick though. I think that was more of a commercialized attempt by Kubrick. I think that was just how it was. My favorite is hard. It's hard to pick a favorite Kubrick film because I've seen all of them. And with Eyes Wide Shut coming out literally in a few days, 4K finally, that just leaves Lolita. That's the very controversial one from the 60s. Do not read info about what happened to the main actress Sue Lyon and how that all got. No, just don't. But the movie was amazing though, especially Peter Sellers in that. But that's literally once that comes out, and I believe Criterion are going to release the Lolita next year. That will be the last Kubrick film, and every single film will be in 4K for Stanley Kubrick. He'll be the first director.
Give me 1 second. I got a phone call coming in. Hold on.
Phone call. It's probably me. Shut up, Manny. All right, let's have a look while Manny's gone. If you want to say bad things about Manny, do so right now. But yeah, I'll not got to think about it. I actually lean more towards his black and white earlier stuff. I love all of his stuff. I mean, I saw the 4K of Barry Lyndon fairly recently. It's not the biggest upgrade from the regular Blu-ray that Criterion did, but my goodness, just that film's looks so beautiful. And I think we were talking about before about the glacial pacing of certain things. This one you need a lot of patience for, but I love the deliberate pacing of it. I think it's fantastic. But my favorite, oh boy, I mean, Doctor Strangelove is probably up there. But Paths of Glory and The Killing, they're probably my favorites, I think. Maybe The Killing, I think. It's just a tight noir film about a heist that's so perfectly planned and ends up being, just having a really ironic twist at the end. So, yeah. Let's have a look. I just watched the Thanksgiving episodes of The Simpsons today. I fell asleep watching the most recent one. The Simpsons has really gone good recently. I think if you just watch them without comparing it to the originals, you're fine. I really do think that the last few seasons have been excellent. The last few episodes especially, but that's just me. Steph saying, I really enjoyed Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, Eliza Little Kid, really underrated show. Yeah. I think it's even better if you're an animation fan and know a lot of the stuff behind it. But even if you don't, it's still fun. Let's see, and a gorgeous animation thanks to TMS. Yep, that's that. Thoughts on the Pink Panther 2006 film? I mean, I love Pink Panther. I can't wait to buy the 4K film releases of the Peter Sellers films. I think all of them are coming out. Trail is not, but that's not a big loss because that's just a patched together film that they did after he died. All of them except for Return are coming out in a few weeks, and then early next year will be Return of the Pink Panther. But Steve Martin, I love Steve Martin, great comedian, but it didn't quite work for me with him as Clouseau. He gave it his best, but didn't quite work for me. So
he tried his best and he failed miserably.
Yeah. Now, will Eddie Murphy be any better? I don't know, because apparently he's the new Clouseau. Apparently, I don't know. I keep on seeing things about it. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Eddie Murphy is a fine actor, but I don't know if he's Let's see. This I agree. The racist ending in Fresh Air makes no sense. It just ends on a racist note for no reason. Yeah, it's just like they just decide, you know what, I wish it wasn't Dixie, hooray, hooray, and then they just do that. It's it's like, okay. Ain't That Ducky 1945? I
That's a good
agree.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. I definitely want that one. That one should be okay to put on. I mean, it just has one shot that if you
The
squint,
the stereotype joke. Yeah, the hair one.
the Pickaninny hair
Yeah. And
thing.
speaking of hair, Toon Talkmaster. Now that Manny's gonna let the bald jokes begin. I actually just I saw a picture of as I said today's my older brother's birthday, and it was a picture of us when I was 7. No, I wasn't 7. I was, I think, 8 years old. My brother right now is 4 years older than me, but later in next, because my birthday's in March, his birthday's November, and for most of the year we have a 3-year age gap. But so I was what, 8? He's probably 12 years old, and I was like, man, look at that mullet I used to have back in the day. I mean, he still has his hair, but uh, he's thinning on top. And I look older than him, and I'm the young. It's because of this. So go figure.
That's it. Have I seen any of the Peanuts TV specials growing up? I did mention this before. No, I did not. I had not seen any of them. I only saw them finally, maybe starting during COVID. Around that, I finally started watching them. I just never saw them. Again, they probably were on TV, but I just never got around to seeing them. I actually read the comic strip way before. I've got the first 5 volumes of the chronological order, and I really need to collect the rest. I don't know. I just keep saying I'm going to get around to it. I did visit the museum in Tokyo. I visited the original one that was there. It was supposed to be temporary, but it was so popular that they ended up now having a more permanent space that's a little bit out of Tokyo. I've been to both, and it's great stuff, as we say. There should be a complete Peanut-style Sesame Street Blu-ray set by chronological order. Sesame Street to do all of that on Blu-ray, and I'm going to assume that some of the episodes would have been lost because I think during the 70s, a lot of studios were just reusing video at the time, and so you have a lot of things that are lost. Doctor Who was a casualty. I know in Britain they were just reusing tapes because they didn't think anyone would rewatch stuff. So I believe some of the stuff from Sesame Street would be lost. So but you know. But really, do we really want all of them? Probably not.
I mean, fortunately, I've seen them on YouTube because I don't like. I saw Sesame Street as a kid, but I don't have a ton of memory of it. Like, I had a videotape of Super Grover, and like it was it was a storybook, and they would add narration to it, and I used to love that Super Grover, and I had it on VHS back in the day, and I talk like that every day in front of people. I go Super Benny, and then that's why I don't have no friends. But no, and oh crud, what was it saying? But I'm fortunate that I'm my 2 favorite musicians in the world are Billy Joel and Stevie Wonder, and both of them appeared on Sesame Street. And I love, especially Stevie Wonder, like early on in he was on Sesame Street, I think in 72, 73, because he played Superstition, which is from his Talking Book album, which came out in 72. And like seeing the live band doing it, and there's a shot of a kid with really long hair, and the kid's like on like a railing for like steps, and the kid's like head banging or something. And every time I've shown that clip to people, they start cracking up. And then Billy Joel does a cover of Just the Way You Are for Oscar the Grouch, and Marley Matlin is doing she's doing sign language for it, and it's a very charming clip. Oh, and of course your favorite musician in the world was on Sesame Street, Mr. Tito Puente.
Yeah, it's I mean, Sesame Street it's amazing. The Ernie and Bert scenes, even as an adult, I'm talking the original stuff, of them two, just cracks me up. Even I've seen a few of them. You'll have situations, Bert and Ernie, they're trying to get to sleep, and Ernie will be like, I'm thirsty, and Bert is like, fine, I'll get you a drink of water, and he's going off, and or the here fishy 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 one, just they still crack me up, and because they knew the secret as well, that they knew parents would have to watch it as well with their kids and that, and it's like you gotta make it entertaining for adults as well. That's why I like, even recently I have seen that they've done a lot of parodies of they even did a Game of Thrones parody of all things, and that's very un-Sesame Street as you can get, and yet they did one in the style of Sesame Street, which, you know, a good parody. Like they've done it really, really well. But a lot of animators also got to start on Sesame Street as well. You got a lot of great names in that. I'd like to see. I wouldn't want to see complete episodes in chronological order, but I would love to see maybe a compilation of all the animation bits, maybe that kind of stuff. That could be cool, but you know. Let's see what else have we got here. Just joking. No, you're not. About the bald jokes. No, you're not. Hope we get a 4K release of the cartoons of the Pink Panther. Honestly, the Blu-rays are fine. I don't think we'd get too much of an uptick. There's my wife. Hello. Great to see and hear the both of you. Grandma says hi to both of you. Have a great day. Yes, I'll certainly try. Yes.
Thank you, Grandma.
Thank you, Grandma.
Thank you, Kathy, as well.
Which cartoon would you consider worse? Going to Heaven on a Mule or a certain Walter Lantz cartoon for 41, which would be Scrubby Mama with a Boogie Beat? I'm assuming that's what you meant. I would say Scrubby Mama is probably worse. Going to Heaven on a Mule, as terrible as it is, at least makes more sense because all they were doing was parodying a particular Busby Berkeley. Well, not Busby. No, what's his name? They were parodying an Al Jolson film, like a whole scenario where it was just everyone in blackface in heaven and whatever. So that made sense, as bad as it is. But Scrubby Mama with a Boogie Beat, yeah, no, that's. Whew. Let's see. I still consider the Martin Pink Panther one of the worst movies I ever paid to see in the theater. Everyone but me and my dad left. Well, for me, what was that? That movie with Tom Hanks? That heist, the Da Vinci Code. Yeah, I left that. I after the first maybe 20 minutes, I just left. I thought it was terrible.
Wonder Bar was the name of the Jolson film that Going to Heaven on a Mule was based off. I was trying to remember because I did do the main music time for that. It was Wonder Bar in 1934.
Yeah,
same year as the short.
Yeah, and, so at least it made sense.
Yeah,
as awful as
I've seen both shorts, and they're both brutal to go through. I can't decide right now. I have to rewatch them again. Maybe the next stream ask us the same question, and then I'll be like, yeah, it's definitely one over the other. But yeah,
my money, the worst is probably Scrubby Mama. And the song's nice, so at least you can switch off the visuals. You got something. I mean, actually, both of them have nice music, so just turn off the visuals and yeah.
That's what I see. That's the thing, especially with some of the. With the Censored 11 and some of the other brutal Warner Brothers shorts, the music, like, again, you can just mute it and just listen to the music itself. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, Coal Black is the best of the Censored 11. Me personally, I think it's an overrated short.
Same
my opinion. My personal favorite would be Clean Pastures because I just love the Swing for Sale scene musically. Visually, no. But just musically, I think it's one of my favorite musical scenes in a Warner Brothers short, strictly for the music, not for, like I said, for the visuals.
Now, did I pick up the Peanuts Ultimate Blu-ray? No, I was about to, and then I found out that some of the specials they stuffed up. They didn't put it in HD like they were supposed to, even though they're restored. So I'm just waiting for them to fix that up, hopefully. I do have the movie 4-disc set from Paramount, so I'm hoping to complement it with that. And I'll probably track down the 4K releases of some of the specials as well that Warner's did. But speaking of Peanuts, I got this. That's from the. I know it's probably in reverse. I don't know. Unfortunately, but you get the idea. That's from the Tokyo Snoopy Museum. It's like a ceramic. It's like it was like in a blind bag, and that was the one I got, which is nice. That's an early one, and even this little again on the blind bag that was pretty
nice.
Pretty nice there. I don't. I know it seems weird because you can see all the crap behind me, but I'm actually very selective of what I buy. If I wasn't, you'd have probably twice as much or 3 times as much. I've actually gone to the point where I'm like, you know what? I just want to narrow down to what I absolutely really want. Let's see. They did a Stranger Things parody. Yes, they did indeed.
I'm kind of the same way because I mean, the pop culture thing that I have the most of is Ninja Turtles, but as you can probably see right here, this is a glass case filled of some of like my favorite things. So I got like the Ghostbusters Proton Pack. I also have the trap and the PK meter that I have to put back in there, but I was going to use it for Halloween. I have the Ninja Turtle TCRI canister from the first film, of course.
And Walt Disney.
Hey,
Hey, Krusty, yes.
Rusty Doll from Treehouse of Horror 3. And a
And
little further,
next to all of that, you've got Walt Disney's Frozen Body.
pretty much. Shh, don't tell everybody. I need to raise it up a little bit more. I'm definitely doing that wrong. Raise it a little higher. I got some Looney Tunes stuff. I have the more Ghostbusters. I have the Turtle Van. My friend John, John Wojo, huge Turtle fan. Hey John, if you're listening, I got these a few years. It's this stupid center stage thing. Let me take it off now. Great. I think it's clicked off from what we were doing. Come back here. There you go. But yeah, over here you could see I have more Ghostbusters stuff in there, but I have a cookie jar that I got when I first got into Looney Tune research. I think it was from the old Warner Brothers Studio store. You have Porky and Daffy from Robin Hood Daffy, these little stack shoes bust things that are really nice. The Turtle Van. There's a little Homer over there as well. And then on top, took me 30 years, but I finally got the Technodrome because one of my neighbors when I was a kid had the Technodrome. And I finally got on Amazon. They reissued it, but it's smaller than the original. And of course, some nerds online complained about it. But mainly Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Looney Tunes, Avatar.
Of course, I got a certain king up here.
Oh yeah, he's right up there. I have in the top of the bookshelf. I have the King Homer,
and the Planet of the. This is the original. This Planet of the Apes is the Ape's head. That was the DVD sets of all the original Planet of the Apes films. This is only 500 worldwide of the Terminator 2 endoskeleton with Blu-ray. Over here, the 3 DVD sets of the Lord of the Rings there, and I've got the James Bond there. The complete MASH. That's my wife's set. She loves MASH. Me, I think it's okay. I am still sorting out my shelves, so everything's a bit all over the place. But yeah,
same here.
And of course, the new Superman movie, which I adore. A few logic holes here and there, but ultimately the movie felt right to me. I liked it. So let me see. Loved when Kermit was on Sesame Street. Yeah, I'm old enough that I grew up with Kermit on Sesame Street. Then one day he was just gone. So I know why, but yeah, it was disappointing. What about a Popeye-style restoration for Ren and Stimpy? I doubt that's going to happen. And this isn't even about John Kay and the problematic stuff involving him. But the elements, I don't even know if they exist. I know the best possible way to watch it, you got to import it from Germany. There is a German box set where they put them all on Blu-ray, but still standard definition. But there was a website that I don't have the link now, but it actually has the best possible versions now you can of Ren and Stimpy, where it takes even bits that were cut out that only are available on VHS, and they've all been recompiled together. That's what I have, and I put that on Plex, my media server. But in an ideal world, if the elements were available, yeah, Ren and Stimpy, whether you like it or not, even people who I know don't like it, still acknowledge that it was a big deal. It was important as far as animation-wise. It was a... I've got to show you something, Manny, before I forget.
Ooh.
I actually found this. I don't even know where it's from. It's an old money bank, and it's definitely needs to be repainted and fixed. But
ooh, that's really nice.
I don't know where it's from or whatever. But yeah, I it's obviously it's got the thing there. It's a money box. It's got money in it. I might have to take it out later. Go to the casino.
$900 dues.
I wish it was $900 dues in here. Oh yeah, I like the fact he's got behind as well there. So it's a... I don't know when this is made or whatever. I would love to pose that question to folks out there if they know more about it. But I wouldn't mind if I can get that restored. That would be nice. But yeah,
that'll probably cost $900 dues to get it restored.
Probably, yeah. Did you hear about the Mighty Mouse film with Ryan Reynolds coming out? Well, it is what it is.
I haven't heard anything.
Honestly, the only reason I'm happy when they announce stuff like that is that it gives us the chance to have the original stuff restored and released.
Somebody earlier mentioned, I don't know if you saw the comment, but they were talking about MeTV Tunes. You guys don't have that in Australia, right?
No.
Well, I've unfortunately haven't seen too much of MeTV Tunes. I've seen a little bit of it over time. Also because where I live, I mean, I live in New Jersey, and one of the stations for MeTV is in I think in Middletown, which is like 40 minutes south of me. But my signal's always like it's very spotty. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I've seen a little. I put it on every once in a while. They do like obviously Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry, Popeye. A bunch of people are happy, and I think Toon Talker Master. I think it was you that mentioned the whole Meet TV thing. Um, they have Terry Tunes on there, Mighty Mouse, and Heckle and Jekyll. I haven't watched much Terry Toon material. I mean, I did see, like, for example, Wolf a lot as a kid. The first one of the first Mighty Mouse cartoons because it was in a public domain tape. Same thing with the Talking Magpies, which I believe is the first Heckle and Jekyll one. I always love that one. Always makes me laugh a lot. That's a pretty funny cartoon. I know they were kind of the lower end when it comes to animation quality compared to like you got MGM and Disney were up here, and then Warner Brothers was like a step down, and then you had like Terry Toons was pretty much in the basement in terms of quality. But when time allows, I'd like to watch more Meet TV Tunes. I mean, of course, I'm happy that they now have the original Ninja Turtle series on there, as well as some other stuff from the 80s and 90s, like the real Ghostbusters, Inspector Gadget. And I know people have been begging to have the big ones from the 90s, like Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and Batman the Animated Series, but that's the thing. That's what's
Mm,
stopping it.
exactly. Thanks about the love for the piggy bank. I mean, I love the piggy bank, only if it's filled with money, of course. Rocco's Modern Life fan, since we're on the Nick stuff. Oh boy, yes, we indeed are, aren't we, man? He's like, how dare you insinuate
How
we don't like that kind of
dare
thing?
you? Ren and Stimpy was like especially the Spumco years. I mean, still to this day, there's just a takes and get. I'm not a big fan of gross humor, but Ren and Stimpy and Rocco were exceptions. I mean, my brother and I, we loved Ren and Stimpy as a kid. We still do to this day. But the Spumco years, absolutely hilarious. But then obviously it took a dive when John Kay left, and then obviously all the controversy and just how lousy of a human being John Kay is in general. Rocco has aged really well, and obviously all the adult jokes that went over our heads as kids. And Rocco, had 4 seasons, 52 episodes. The Static Cling movie that came out a few years ago on Netflix, I really liked it. I saw it. Rocco and Ren and Stimpy are two of my favorite Nicktoons. You could say for a while they were my favorite Nicktoons, but now that title goes to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and plus I'm also a huge fan of The Legend of Korra. The whole Avatar verse is my favorite Nickelodeon thing. But yeah, 90s Nickelodeon. Obviously, I watched a ton of Nickelodeon as a kid, besides Rocco and the original three Nicktoons, Ren and Stimpy, Doug, and Rugrats. I saw those a lot as a kid. The Nickelodeon Doug, not the Disney Doug. Disney Doug sucked. Ren and Stimpy, Hey Arnold, Rocco. I was a fan of Rocket Power a bit, but then that fell off. And then in the 2000s when I stopped watching Nickelodeon, and then obviously Avatar came along, and I love it's one of my favorite franchises in the whole world. And obviously, I would not be here if it weren't for me watching Looney Tunes on Nickelodeon, because that was a
Mm,
huge part of my Looney Tune diet. It was either watching, Gold Rush days and Notes to You and To Duck or Not to Duck on public domain tapes, and Addiction Time was another one I had on a PD tape. But I saw a lot of Porky Pig shorts on Nickelodeon. I remember seeing Which is Which. They used to show that on Nickelodeon in the 90s. Some other ones, and occasionally I would watch the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show on Channel 7, ABC 7 in New York. But yeah, like it's really one of the reasons why I became such a big Looney Tune fanatic. Oh well, when I became a researcher, that was in middle school, but actually, yeah, Looney Tunes on Nickelodeon is the reason why I got into this in the first place, because that fateful day, I think it was in late 2000, like December of 2000, where I was on a computer. Remember Yahoo when it was a search engine, or Ask Jeeves? Remember those days, kids?
we were talking
On AOL.
fun.
And Bosco just popped into my head, and all I said was, I remember seeing this character called Bosco. And I typed it into a search engine, and it brought me to the old Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, the early years website that the Toon Zone website and the Termite Terrace Trading Post used to exist on. And that's where it all started from there. I was like, wow, like Looney Tunes were made in the 30s. Like what you said before that people didn't know, like Astro Boy or something else. I think it might have been Scooby Doo, that they were produced in the 60s and 70s, and people thought that they were from a different time period. I used to think like Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies were made like maybe the 60s, 70s, 80s. And then when I found out, wait, these are from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and all that, it's like, whoa, it blows your mind.
Well, the candlestick phones should have been a hint. But
I was not a very bright boy.
No. I can understand. Look, some people were like, "Really? I didn't know that," or if they're questioning it. That's fine. But I just laugh when people. I've had people accuse me of spreading lies. These were. It's like, no, there was no color TV back then. Stop spreading lies. Like, and I will just flood them with links backing up my opinion, saying, a simple Google search would have saved you from the embarrassment. So, it's okay to, if you didn't know, you didn't know. There's nothing wrong with that. But to say I'm lying, it's like, what have I got to gain from spreading that kind of lie? Now, it's VeggieTales movie. I've not seen a single VeggieTales. I barely even know what they are.
I was too old for VeggieTales.
But let me see. What Looney Tunes VHS tips did you grow up with? I had a Roadrunner one where I watched the same ones over and over again. So that's why I'm so familiar with a few of them, like Hook, Line, and Sinker. I used to watch that a ton of times as a kid. Yes, I know it doesn't have the greatest score in the world, but if you listen to the score, it sounds like it's actually singing Hook, Line, and Sinker. Da, da, da. Like if you actually listen to it, now I won't get that out of your head. I had a Daffy one. That had quite a few in there. That was really good. But I actually had more Tom and Jerry. I had like 6 volumes of the Tom and Jerry VHS. I think they were the same ones that were done for the Laserdisc releases. I think Jerry Beck and so on were involved with. So I think I could be wrong. And of course, those glorious public domain colorized nonsense.
Of course. I had mainly just public domain tapes. I think they were called Kids Classics, and I know Looney Tune Wiki is really detailed, and like for example, I was looking up something about like an Action Time, and it said, "Oh, an Action Time was featured in this public domain compilation from 1988." And I'm looking at like the box art because I don't remember what the box looked like, but then I look at the listing, it was like an Action Time, To Duck or Not to Duck, Gold Rush Days, and I think one other. I was like, that's the same freaking tape. Like, how do they do this? Like, from some generic, it's not like, one that was released by Warner's or, from MGA UA or Turner. It's like, I was like, man, these guys have got a lot of time on their hands. They'll find this stuff. And for official releases, I don't really remember having any. I mean, I did have, again, Looney Tune adjacent, but I had 3 episodes of Tasmania. And that's what taught me about Australian culture. That and
it's very accurate. It's very accurate. Very accurate. It's like a documentary.
And it was one of the episodes with Rob Paulson. Again, he was playing I think a dingo character, and it's like Taz with bottle caps and all that, and Taz trying to eat the eggs of a bird. I love the Tasmania theme song. I did have How I Spent My Vacation from Tiny Toons on VHS. I actually rewatched it over the summer. And it holds up really well. Obviously there's pop culture references from the 80s and 90s that I would know, but, a kid now wouldn't get the jokes. But I was genuinely laughing at some of those pop culture references from back then. And I did get Space Jam on VHS for, I think it was my 9th birthday. So in 1997, Space Jam came out in 96. The anniversary was recently, it was the 29th anniversary. But I'm like, I have a love-hate relationship with that film now, but for regular releases,
I have a soft spot for Space Jam because I was 10 years old at the time, and it was just, seeing Looney Tunes on the big screen was a big deal.
Yeah, that's what, like the second film, I saw it. That was one of the last things I did before I left Texas. I lived in Texas for a few years. I did my graduate studies there, and unfortunately, I finished the degree, but COVID forced me to move back to New Jersey. But I went with 2 of my friends from grad school. Hi, Aiden. Hi, Christine. If you're listening, speaking of Peanuts and Disney, I know Christine is a huge fan of them, and Aiden is a huge Simpsons nerd. He gets our language. Like we literally quoted The Simpsons when we first met each other, and we're like, oh, "Are we going to be best friends?" And we all saw the film, and they're animation fans, and obviously I'm the Looney Tune nerd, and we were all like, that sucked. But I did rewatch the original Space Jam before I saw New Legacy again, and you know what? The score, the soundtrack, pretty awesome. Fly Like an Eagle, this cover from Seal. R. Kelly's a garbage human being, but I Believe I Could Fly, in my opinion, is one of the best pop songs of the 1990s and a great R&B track. The opening music from the film is awesome, and look, there's some parts that I still like when you see the Toon Squad getting ready before the game, and you hear Technotronic "Pump Up the Jam," bump bump bump, or not "Pump Up the Jam." I forget. It's Technotronic. That's the name of the group. That, and like seeing the little Easter eggs of like Hubie and Birdie being the announcers and other Looney Tune characters in the background and whatnot, but maybe I don't hate it as much as I do, because that soft spot and that nostalgia does touch. But
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. And I'm sure we can agree. I mean, what was the name of the basketball player in the second one?
the what?
The basketball player in the second
LeBron James.
LeBron James. Okay,
LeBron James.
I'll say what you want about the first Space Jam. Okay, but LeBron James, his acting was so bad that he makes Michael Jordan's acting in the first one be like Daniel Day-Lewis in comparison. Like I'm no joke. I mean, they're both terrible. They're not actors. They're athletes, right?
Yeah.
But man, LeBron James, sorry, he acted so badly in that one. Yeah, he really made Michael Jordan seemed at least competent in comparison. It's just wow. I mean, it's a fun fact. I actually saw the second Space Jam. This was during the wonderful COVID years. But the cinemas here reopened, and I actually got to see it in the cinema. And I tell you what, I was watching it, and as it was going on, I was going, "Oh no, this is not good." I mean, there was individual bits that were fine, but that it was tone deaf, where they put a cameo by Rick and Morty in there, which is not a kids animation thing. That's an adult animated thing. And why are they doing an Austin Powers reference? No kid's gonna know Austin Powers. Why do the Matrix reference? Oh man, I can trash that film. I mean, it's a shame.
And also, it's just a glorified commercial for HBO Max, which and the thing that always irks me too, it's like, oh, we created the Wizard of Oz. Like, no, you got Wizard of Oz through, the Turner deal.
Yeah.
Like, stop, you didn't make that film. Like just.
And it's a shame because the animation, actual 2D animation, that's the biggest high point of it. Like, at least it's got some good in it, and the 2D animation, even the 3D animation was competent. And yes, I laughed at the whole Michael Jordan joke where they say, "Hey, we got Michael Jordan," but it was actually the other actor, the one who could actually act.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
he actually went to high school not far from me in Newark, New Jersey, Arts High School.
Wow. And but it's good that he actually came on board for that joke, because that was funny. But
that was funny.
But that movie. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. In fact, it's so unpopular. Like, usually when they release physical media or 4K movies or whatever, the steelbooks sell out immediately. Even after all these years, I still see the steelbook 4K edition of Space Jam: A New Legacy in the store. Like, it's still there, and I haven't bought it because I just and it's a shame because, again, good people worked on it from the animation side, but it was definitely a mess. But we'll probably
since you mentioned something about the reference, like with the Shining, and not the Shining, with Rick and Morty, and like one thing that did make me laugh when I did the rewatch of the original Space Jam. Obviously, Danny DeVito is a national treasure. Also, he's another Jersey boy. He's one of us, and doing the voice of Swackhammer. And when you see Bill Murray coming on, I mean, that's pretty funny. And it always does make me laugh when like Swackhammer's like, "Hey, I didn't know they let Dan Aykroyd in this picture." So I laughed at that, obviously for the Ghostbuster reference, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. But then, Bill Murray also says in the film, he's like, "Yeah, a producer is a friend of mine." And who produced Space Jam? Ivan Reitman. the director of the first two Ghostbusters films. So I was like, oh, I like the little, the joke that obviously I missed as a kid, and I appreciate it now. But just Danny DeVito's delivery of that, it's Danny DeVito. You can't go wrong with Danny DeVito.
Exactly, and I think the actors, like the supporting actors in general, made the first Space Jam a whole lot better. You had Bill Murray, for crying out loud. You had like
Even the basketball during the scene, I think when you see the NBA players that they're like trying to figure out why they lost their talent. Charles Barkley's hilarious, but like he says I think he's like praying in the church, and he's like I think he's like he says something about Madonna, and it makes me laugh every time. His delivery of it. He's probably the best actor of all the NBA players that was in that film anyway. So kudos to you, Charles Barkley.
And a fun fact, he had like a one-line guest role in the Simpsons episode that you have not seen. Apparently Mr. Burns or someone won a competition to shoot hoops with Barkley, and he fails miserably, and Barkley just says one line, he goes, well, still better than Shaq. So there's that. But we'll soon wind down because we've gone for nearly 2 hours. Crikey.
Mate.
But look, this whole impromptu live stream was more just a test to test out this program to see how it works streaming on multiple platforms. And I do definitely want to do a lot more live streaming. Now, I could do some solo ones where I actually work, where I'm actually editing stuff, and you guys can see how I edit. The problem is, I know I use iMovie, a very basic editor, okay? I don't need anything complicated. I'm aware there are much better editors out there that do much more better things. I don't need it. So I know that if I use it and I'm doing the screen share, and it's like, wait, you're using iMovie? Why are you using iMovie? It's like, well,
no, you don't. Don't lie to these people. You still use film, and you cut the film, and you use film cement to put it together. Like just folks, if you need to know what he does, because he showed me actually, just think of Daffy Duck in Hollywood. That's exactly what he does.
That's right. That's right. Just cutting a boxing match where they're just standing off, and it's like, I can't stand it. Yes.
And they're in the middle of the ring, and
it's just standing, just looking at each other. I'll answer these two questions though. Duck Dodgers, I'm currently watching it now, bit by bit. I don't want to binge stuff like that. I just like to watch stuff like that in between other stuff. You know what I mean? I think it works better that way.
Yeah.
Back in Action, I think it's flawed, but it's fun. So
I've never seen I've seen only parts of Back in Action. Some things I like, some things I didn't, but one day I'm going to sit down and watch the whole thing, finally.
I think I heard that bad things happen behind the scenes of that one, and studio interference and all that. But
it's a drag because Joe Dante he's a legitimate Looney Tune fan. He has a passion behind it. But I heard the same thing. It's just and
he does not talk about it. You try and ask him about it, he will not talk about it at all.
He's a professional. He's a real professional for that.
And apparently he wanted to make a movie about the
Termite
Terrace.
Yeah.
That is right there, a perfect story waiting to be told. Anyway, let me see here. Plan on doing physical media reviews on Looney Tunes releases. I've already done that for a few of them. Hey, there is Yogi Bear. I did that, but I did Tom and Jerry. Hey, boo boo.
Hey, boo boo.
Let's see. I want to see Dante's actual Back in Action. I don't know if he did his own cut or not.
Yeah. Release the Dante cut.
There we go. Hashtag, yes.
Hashtag release.
Opinion on Famous Studios as an animation studio.
The early stuff's kind of good.
Yeah.
The early Popeye, Little Lulu, but yeah, it fell off pretty quick.
Beautiful. So, but yeah, I want to do this as a proper show where, with me and Manny, and we're going to, actually come up with topics beforehand. And yes, we will promote it because, believe it or not many people from Facebook. It's so weird. I got 95,000 people over there, and I'm aware that probably maybe even a third of it's probably, or even half of it might even be bots. For all I know, I have no idea. People just liking, and that's it. But doesn't matter. I was actually a bit surprised, but yeah. So But I'll be curious to see how it went on Instagram. This is just again a test, So
Can I? There's a comment that is addressed to you, but I want to answer this one if you don't mind. Flickalova returns. Cool name. It says, "What do you think about Mel Franklin's version of Merrily We Roll Along from Hairbrush?" So yeah, he's referring to the one from like 1955. That arrangement of it. Me personally, my favorite. So my favorite arrangement of the Merry-Go-Round Broke Down is probably the first one from 1937 when Carl Stalling started doing it. And my favorite version of Merrily We Roll Along, it's my ringtone for my phone. If you guys rewatch Cracked Ice, and it's like Cracked Ice and other shorts that came out in 1938, the 38-39 season, that particular arrangement of Merrily We Roll Along. Like I could think of Cracked Ice, I could think of Gold Rush Days, I could think of other shorts, with the green and yellow rings. That arrangement is my favorite of that song. The one from the 50s, Flickalova, I mean, yeah, the one, the Merrily We Roll Along from I mean, there's like the one from the early 40s, the ones that you would hear in the Blue Ribbon intro. That one's overused to death. The one from like the mid 40s to the mid 50s, that one's all right. Like I mean, all of Carl Stalling's arrangements are awesome, but like I said, my personal favorite is the Merrily We Roll Along from Cracked Ice and the Merry-Go-Round Broke Down from 37. I also like the one from the early 40s. The ones that they used to put them on. I think some of these redrawn colorized shorts uses that arrangement of it. As well as the black and white Porkies from that time from the early 40s. So yeah. I guess if that helps. I know I spoke on behalf of Anthony. I like
how
the
dare you to
how
use that?
dare you. I like the Franklin. Yeah, I like it too, but I prefer just the arrangement that Carl Stalling did for those songs. But we can agree it's not the William Lava version from the 60s. Ugh.
Yeah.
I will say though, and this is actually one of the episodes that I recorded with Jonathan for his podcast. Hi, Jonathan. Again, this means podcast. That when Looney Tunes cartoons, Looney Tunes cartoons, the HBO Max show, when they did a parody of the Patty Freeling Seven Arts era, and the fact that it started with a new recording of Bill Lava's arrangement of the theme song, and plus the intro looked like something from the Seven Arts, the Patty Freeling era. I'm dying of laughter, and I'm thinking, God, there's going to be so many people watching this and saying, "What is going on with this intro?" Because, you know, I saw plenty of the Patty Freeling and Seven Arts shorts on Nickelodeon as a kid, but just the fact that they did an actual homage reference to that intro, it killed me. Even though it's not my favorite arrangement in the world, but the fact they did it, I was like, yeah, you could tell the people working on the show they're doing it out of love.
Oh, 100%. So I'll finish up by showing a few things that I've got to watch. So, of course, with Christmas coming up, the 4K edition of the Chuck Jones Classic.
I need to buy that.
Yeah, it's got all the extras from the Blu-ray, and they actually got the colors correct. He's not fluoro green in the actual restoration finally, but it also includes in 4K the Grinch's, the Cat in the Hat, and Halloween is Grinch Night. Say what you will about those, but they're in 4K as well, which is odd. But it's all here. That's a great one there. But I also got this in the mail. I supported Thad Komorowski's Cartoon Logic Kickstarter.
Ooh, okay.
And I've never really seen any of these. I mean, I really shouldn't have had any excuse because they're in the public domain and all that. And yeah, it got all that here. But I'm hoping he makes more. Look, there were delays and stuff, but Thad kept us all up to date. So it was his first Kickstarter, so
Yeah.
cut him some slack. That's fair enough. Just keep us updated and learn from your mistakes. And I'm assuming he will. I can't wait to take a look at this. Maybe even do a review. And I paid a little extra because I actually didn't pick it up before, but I wanted to. But Flip the Frog, the complete.
Oh, so I don't know if he's still on the stream, but SC and we went to a screening in New York. I think it was in August. Yeah, when it was still warm outside, unfortunately. And Steve Stansfield from Thunderbeat Animation and Jerry Beck was there. They introduced it, and they played one of the Aesop's Fables shorts, and I've only seen a little bit of Flip the Frog, but they played one of them, and I think it's actually one of the restorations that um that Steve did, but also our friend Devin Baxter. He's worked on the restorations on there, and the Flip the Frog was really funny. I really enjoyed it. The Aesop's Fable.
He killed the chicken here, by the way.
Po-
I just realized that now. So, man, I would love for the studios to actually do proper sets like this. You got the welcome,
yeah.
stuff like that, and
You,
you got
you mean
essays.
putting in effort? You mean?
Well, this is like a Criterion release,
Yeah.
more or less. There's even technical stuff about what they have to do to restore everything. Like this is what we need more sets to do. And look, I'm not saying people like Jerry Beck don't want that to happen for the Warner Archive stuff. That's work within the confines of what they have,
Yeah, studio
But
system.
but still, I really wish we had more things like this. But again, and this is not a shade to any, to Jerry or anyone. Like they're doing great work as much as they can.
Yeah, the Thad set. I mean, Thad, is an acquaintance of mine. I've hung out with him in person a few times. He actually did me a huge solid years ago. Prior to me joining your channel, like I never had every single Warner Brothers short. I mean, Thad and I, we've been interacting on, like on message boards since the early Termite Terrace days. Thad's he's a year younger than me, but I remember like 20 something years ago, he sent me a VHS of some of the unsavory Warner Brothers shorts, like Tokyo Jokyo, some of the Censored 11. And yeah, about like almost 10 years ago, he ripped a ton of DVDs for me of the shorts that I needed. So he helped with my collection significantly. So again, thank you, Thad, for that. I got to check out, I mean, his old Cartoon Logic podcast that he did with Bob Shakes. Awesome. Great. I actually use his podcast in my graduate studies because I was writing about animation music and I sourced the podcast, and it was a great one. It's unfortunately they're not doing it at the moment. Hopefully they can pick it up again. Speaking of animation related, I mean, I have so many Blu-ray and DVD that I still haven't watched yet, but I just picked this up. So about a month or so ago, I saw a film that they put it on YouTube. Haven't seen it in years, and I was rewatching it, and I'm like, oh god, it's hilarious. It's so fun. I forgot how funny it is. Ending's problematic, but the film is still funny. And then I was like, oh, let me see the other film that this guy did in the same year. That it's a big love letter to classic animation. And then I said, what a drag. It's not on Blu-ray, and it's not, or sorry, I think it was on Blu-ray or DVD. And I'm like, too bad it's not a 4K release. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I started following Arrow Video on Instagram because Arrow's releasing finally all three of the Ninja Turtle films for the 90s in 4K. I pre-ordered it the day it came out. And what is that film that I was talking about? Just came in a few days ago. The Mask.
Yeah, I got to order that. That's the death scene, the quote unquote death scene where he gets shot.
Oh, yeah.
Kills me. Like the whole.
Oh, so good.
His delivery of hold me closer, Ian. It's getting dark. Does the whole
his coughing.
I just love how muffled it is. Like it's clearly like a stupid studio set. Like it's just muffled, and yeah.
I still haven't seen it yet. Maybe this weekend I'll watch it. And I mean, Jim Carrey. I was actually the mask for Halloween when I was a third grade. I had the rubber mask. I'll say this: the first time I ever saw Cameron Diaz, I was what? This movie came out in '94. I was what, 6 years old, but even then, I'm like, oh, she's so pretty. So yeah, I was like, that was
so you had your awakening.
Oh, it was like Cameron Diaz in the mask and the Pink Power Ranger and and Mariah Carey.
There we go. There we go.
Selena too. Rest in peace.
But yeah, let me know, guys. Would any of you be like? I might actually do this more for. I want to do member streams because I really want to try and give more stuff to members. Maybe I'm thinking maybe member streams of when I actually work on videos, that kind of stuff. I could probably do that. But Manny and I we're looking at doing certain topics. For each one, we want to do one where we're going to look at all those awful MGM lobby cards. I want to do that. But I'm thinking, Manny, maybe next one we just talk Christmas specials, I guess, because we're pretty
Yeah.
much, I reckon that, and then next year we can look at other stuff if you're
But
cool with that.
but you changed your mind on me because you said we were going to talk about collective bargaining agreements next time.
Ah, yes, yes.
There's another Simpsons reference.
That's
And
right.
make sure next time we do it, we have to wear suits and we have to have like a very formal back, like get rid of all our stuff in the background and and put it and shoot. We'll do it all in
50s
black and white
minimalist.
and have like a nice little jazz intro on the vibraphone.
But we'll keep it animation related, so I'll just have UPA cartoons playing in the background or something,
Pretty much, and we'll get fake cigarettes. Really lean into the bit.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm here with Emmanuel Cruz, talking about collective bargaining agreements. Is there a labor crisis here? I love that. I've
That
rewatched
depends
that
on what
clip.
you mean by labor crisis, Manny.
I've rewatched that clip like 10 times a few days ago. I was like, it's one of those things. Is like, as a kid, you're just like, okay, that's random. As an adult, it's like, holy crap, this is hilarious.
And the just the instrument, the theme. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah, on the vibraphone, that late 50s jazz sound right there. It's just
Oh my goodness.
Alf Clausen, rest in peace. Chef's kiss.
Yes. Speaking of Alf, before we go, I'll just mention you quickly. I'm watching.
He's back in pog form.
He is. He actually did the music for Moonlighting, which is Bruce Willis's breakout role in the TV series. There's 5 seasons. It's actually similar in one way to Ren and Stimpy in that when it came out, it was hugely popular, but then episodes got delayed due to creative issues and conflicts, whatever, and then not long after, it just died off so quickly. It's literally like Ren Stimpy in its trajectory. I kid you not. And Alf Clausen did the music for it, and it's great. It's got Al Jarreau doing the theme song.
Oh, Al Jarreau, good.
Yeah,
I mean,
Come Walk the Night. That's the theme song. If you heard that's the theme song of it. So
I've never watched it. I literally did not know that Alf Clausen worked on it. And was it Bruce Willis was in that show, right?
That was his breakout role.
Okay.
And this was before Die Hard. So he did that.
That was
he
like
did
86, 87, something like that.
To go back to the Pink Panther, like Blake Edwards directed 2 films he was in. But then there was a case of one of the actors, she got pregnant. That's why there was so many delays. There was not only fights behind the scenes, but she got pregnant as well. And he was having to carry the show in that, but there was other delays. But during the delay, he actually got to star in Die Hard, and the rest is history. And the film career beckoned, and they lost interest in the show, and see you later. But the show is very meta. Very meta. It actually also features the last appearance of Orson Welles. They filmed his cameo literally a few days before he died. So
I've never seen it, but there is a joke. It's one of the jokes that I never got until a few years ago. But in the first Ninja Turtles film, April and Casey Jones are fighting in the farmhouse, and they get into an argument. They slam the door, and Donatello's like, "Gosh, it's like moonlighting," and I'm like, "What?"
No, it is seriously, that's literally you got Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis. Their characters are fighting all the time.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
If you watch the show, look, the first season is fairly straight, but it's got comedic elements. But in the second season, when they start getting very meta, literally they got episodes where they get out into the film studio and then they have a chase scene in the film studio. It gets so meta.
That sounds like Blazing Saddles.
Almost. Yeah.
I have to, I actually have the Blu-ray here, but Blazing Saddles, I have not rewatched it in years. I definitely
watched it fairly recently. It's on 4K now, and it's and it looks stunning. So,
I have to do the upgrade then, because I've been going around anything I could find in Blu-ray. On 4K. Like I did it with the Dark Knight trilogy. I did it with Full Metal Jacket. Just if I find the 4K and the 4K is a good price, I donate the Blu-ray. I give it to Goodwill or whatever, and I bump it up to the 4K. Or Willy Wonka. I love that film. I had it on
make
DVD.
Sure you don't get rid of one that has all the special features, because sometimes the 4K will just be 4K, but then they won't put all the special features out. So that's something to be careful.
Yeah, I double check. Like I literally still have Ghostbusters. I have Ghostbusters on multiple DVDs, multiple Blu-rays, and 4K. I have you said the Terminator thing, the limited one. I have the Ghostbusters, the The 1, 2, and Afterlife in the not the proton pack, in the Ghost Trap. That was on Amazon for $100. I got it surprisingly, and now it's like reselling for like $200-300. And it lights up. You pull the films out, the 4K, and it has all these amazing special features, which I still haven't even finished, like audition tapes and alternate
Yeah.
cuts and yada yada. But
Yeah.
adulting is not fun. You don't have time to do cool stuff.
Exactly, like streaming, which we'll sort of finish up here, I think, guys.
Yeah.
But definitely let us know in the comments, like what would you like to see. This is definitely like very raw pilot energy,
Yeah.
testing technology. But we are going to plan out a show properly. I'm going to look at formats. I know we've done the vertical thing here. I think this program Restream has an automated setting where it'll be landscape, but then it'll change it for Instagram or something. I got to look into that. I'm still playing around. I want to add background stuff. I mean, look, I can always add effects like like this, for example.
Riders on the storm.
Yeah, see, yeah, that was actually good timing.
Yeah.
And then actually, I'm gonna see what this does. Video clips with. I'm just curious. Yeah, I don't know what that does. It adds a video in there, so I guess I could add clips in there too. I can share my screen, so we can even do cartoon screenings. The problem is YouTube. I don't know if they play nice. If I was to play a short that's copyright protected, how does it play with that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing maybe a private screening to see how it goes. And if I get a warning message saying, "Hey, you got to stop this," then at least I'll know it won't work.
No, you'll have the I've seen this clip before, but you've probably seen it before, like in a meme. It says FBI, open up, and they smash the door, and that'll be me watching this. FBI, open up, smash through the door.
Exactly. All right, guys, we'll finish up here. That's 2 hours. Yeah,
Crikey.
hope you all enjoyed. Crikey, 2
Crikey,
hours.
mate.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
All right, toodles.